okay, hold up. Jamie is not a bad dad. He loves his
That's not what
son.
he
He
said.
supports him. He does everything for the
At all.
kid.
What he's saying, but I don't like the way he worded it. And I noticed Quick does that a lot.
Alrighty. Hey guys, and welcome to Little Blackbird 91. We're giving you guys a live on Love and Marriage DC. If you watch Love and Marriage, and listen, this is the place to be when we give you the reviews, baby, because we like to go deep over here, okay? Don't take that the wrong way. All right, so I'm joined by Jay, and we're going to be breaking down episode 4. I think there was quite a few bits and bobs that wanted to be discussed. We saw... you saw that clip there, DJ Silver, I'll give you a quick, sorry, I should even say, and Ashley talking to Raina and Jamie. We had obviously the conversation with the girls, Winter and Ashley going at it. We saw Joy saying why she felt some way about Shirelle. We found out Shirelle apparently was a side piece, okay? But apparently she wasn't a side piece, but she was a side piece. But anyway, and apparently Black is not going to write the diss track, but he's going to write the diss track. So yeah, there's a lot of things that aren't, but are, but aren't. So there was quite a bit of things that were happening on this episode. Joy and Clifton may not get married. We'll see what happens there too. So a couple things in there as well. So we're going to break that all down and get deep in the conversation as always. Jay, how you doing? No, you all right?
I'm good. How are you? Hi, everybody. I hope you guys are doing good on this wonderful hump day. And since we're going deep.
Apparently it's Side Chick Day. Is that true?
It is Side Chick Day. It's the day after. It's Side Chick Day. So all you side chicks out there, this episode is for you.
It's a madness. It's a madness. Side Chick Day. Well, since obviously we're doing episode 4, let's start at the very beginning. Let's start with obviously, Joy and Clifton. They're talking about wedding and whether the wedding is going to be on or not. So let's have a look at what.
Hell yeah, we got a roof for you. Yes. Love you.
We go a little bit further on, actually.
Plant our feet.
Okay.
We got this.
Okay.
We got this.
Bomb.
Love you. All right, come on. Get this out the car.
All right, I didn't get the right clip, but hey ho. Anyway, y'all get the point. So Joy and Clifton, obviously, they had a conversation about their wedding plans, and all is, I wouldn't say well, but I would say that they're heading in the right direction. But there was a really important conversation about what they actually both wanted, and it seems like they're on the same page, but it's slightly different. In Joy's mind, in terms of necessarily what would need to lead up to that point. They need to be. She said she needs them to be more grounded. Spoke about a baby, etc., all in between that as well. So, what was your kind of thoughts to Joy and Clifton and their particular situation at the moment?
Coming off of last week's her thoughts, and then what we know from Ready to Love, I was thinking Clifton has done this twice, and he's the marriage type. But the thing is also is that they didn't graduate, or they have graduated, as they like to say now. So that those two things are graduated. And I don't think Joy is into walking across the stage at the end of a marriage. I think she wants the full on lifelong partnership. So she wants to make sure this is planted firmly in the ground, that this house won't move if some waters come, some turbulence hit, an earthquake, some type of natural forces, unforeseen natural forces come along. She wants to make sure that they are deeply rooted together, that they're grounded together as one, and it's not going to just be no flight by night shotgun wedding. So I was kind of with her with that. We don't have to rush this. Everything else has been rushed. Of course, Ready to Love was 2 months at the most. Then we've been in this pretty much long distance relationship for at least 6 months. After that, now that we're living together, we need to acclimate to these new changes in it. Now are we still in the honeymoon phase? Are we moving out of that phase? Are we entering something new? Are we being friends in the first place? Do I know your ticks? Do you know mine? So we need to understand a lot of things. The wedding is just the start of everything. So if we don't understand each other enough to get to the start, what's the point? Because we have a longer journey after that. After those I do's, it's a longer journey after that. And some of us out here don't play with weddings. We don't play with marriage like that. It's a one and done for some of us. And so that's why some of us be waiting for a long time, me included, because I want to be sure you are that one who is willing to ride it out with me to the end. A lot of us don't get that. We met in high school and we've been together for 40, 50, 60, 70 years. We don't get that these days. Marriage is just, divorce is just so prevalent. It's just like a plan B option. Oh, well, if it don't work, we can get a divorce. And if you religious, you spiritual, that's not an option. We can't put that on the table. We're going to have to work through some things. We're going to have to really go through some things. And it's like really one way out. And I don't even want to go through that way. So let's make sure that we are really fit for each other. We don't have to rush. None of that part. And I was with her.
Yeah, it's obviously, I even forgot that he had been married twice, which is obviously a part of the conversation as well, that, we want to make sure that we're actually doing the right thing. Listen, hey, I understand, from her perspective, wanting things to be in place. But I'm like, yeah, I get that. But y'all are moving in together already. So, like, that's a very serious move too. I know it's not a wedding. I know it's not marriage. But to move in with somebody is a really big decision. I know we do it easy in our culture and it's like, yo, you can move in. But once you come together, you know what I mean?
And a quick interjecting, not just moving in, actually purchasing a house. You're not just renting.
They bought a house. So yeah, thank you. That's even another thing. They have not even rented. They've bought a house together. So actually, technically, y'all doing some married stuff because you're now tied legally and financially in this situation, which is your house. So I think yes, Joy doesn't want a big wedding. You're right. So I think the biggest thing is that, listen, sometimes people just want. It's giving me Jada and Will Smith all over again. Jada wanted a small thing, didn't really want a wedding, but if it's going to be a wedding, let it be a small shindig. I don't want to see mad people in my place. Joy's not a person that, if she rocks with you, that's it, she rocks with you. If she doesn't rock with you, she doesn't rock with you. There's no gray area and, it's an associate or whatever. It's like, no, either you're my friend or you're not. Like, she's very like that. And so I think for her, having a wedding is like, yo, it's the most important people that come through. I don't really necessarily need a wedding, but if we're going to do one, it's small. I don't need it huge. And I think it's different for Clifton. It's he maybe seen it in a different way. But I did understand what she meant. I did understand what she meant by, looking at the situation in terms of having things in place and making sure that, before they got married. That just shows that how important you take marriage. You want to put things in place. But I would say that, whilst I agree, and I think 100% we don't want to see you do it again, we've bought a house together now. We're tied in. So, yeah.
And then on the flip side, when you just said about Joy not wanting a big wedding, we don't know what the first two Clifton had were. They could have been small. And so that's probably why he wants the grandiose now, and so we have to, all of these things have to be worked out. They still have a lot more conversation to do. She's going to have to stop avoiding the topic and just get it over with so they can just find a fine line in the middle where maybe it's not too big, or they do a small one at first, and then you could steal my idea. And after so many anniversaries, do the big one, do a small one now. And then the 1 year anniversary, we go big. There's options.
There's options. So yeah, I don't think this is a make or break situation for them. I just think to myself that they just need to have some more conversation in order to really fully, grasp where they actually standing. So I think it's more about the fact that they need to work out some of those kinks in their relationship, and I think it'll be fine. You know, whether they get married or not makes no real difference as long as they come to the same understanding. I think they'll be okay. You know, as long as they come to the same understanding, I think they'll be okay, and they'll, you know, they'll be able to move forward in the right direction as well. So, you know, good luck to them in terms of they've bought a house together. So we appreciate that. Any more thoughts on Joy and Clifton's situation?
No, just they need to talk. Good luck.
Good luck indeed. All right, cool. Let's look at another couple then. Let's look at the next one situation.
Didn't want to tell me. Try just doesn't work. And I relate to little Jamie in that aspect. I've been in his space, you know.
Oh no, this.
It's like I'm not getting any rest. Like my insomnia is kicking my tail. I'm literally averaging maybe an hour or 45 minutes, like a day of sleep. I feel like I'm literally gonna crash and like pass out.
Ooh. So Ashley and DJ Quick, they have a situation at the moment where DJ Quick is, you know, he's having to try and support Ashley in these moments. And we're seeing Ashley kind of being broken down by the, you know, the daily struggle or daily strife. You know, she's a victim of her own success as well, actually, in some sense as well, because she's doing so much that it's becoming a problem. She's got an assistant. So this is not like she hasn't got help. She's got an assistant now who does help her with the business and everything like that. I don't know who's doing the home stuff though yet. I don't know if they got a nanny for that yet, but you know, there is some level of help in some regard. So yeah, she's feeling something. And I wonder if it's not just the breakdown of the work that she's doing, but I'm wondering if just because they've shown us a little bit about her past life, whether she's harboring a lot of stuff that she hasn't fully unpacked, and now she's starting to unpack some of it. It's starting to also bog her down as well, you know, and kind of catch up with her as well, because that emotional care is also needed. You know what I mean? If you start talking to your mom about some of the issues of the past, you've written a book, you start talking to your mom still at this age is denying a whole lot of stuff. That's got to hurt. That's got to be a weight. That's got to be some, you know, it's going to exact some strength from you, you know, as well. So I wonder if those things are also playing on her mind and playing on, you know, why she's so run down at this moment as well. What's your thoughts?
I'm there with you. So there's a situation when you do a tell-all and you're telling your truth. In light of telling your truth and being blatantly honest, you expose other people. And if you haven't had those conversations with those people prior, you're not sure how they're going to take it. When they, you know, read it, they see it. And so I think she has a little bit of nervousness on that, a little bit of anxiety for that, a little bit of anxiety for just the book itself releasing. What comes next afterwards, you know, it may be a success. And if it is a success, what to handle with that. Still balancing Quick not really being there, so having to do a lot of the work at home by herself, and making sure the kid is up, making sure Quick is on his stuff, because of course, we've known in the past that he's been in a few car accidents from lack of sleep. And the whole thing with her best friend just recently. So sis is kind of stressed out during this whole process. And just to touch back on the situation with the best friend, I know some people in the comments last week were saying, well, they didn't feel like he did anything wrong. Well, he might not feel like he did any wrong. We might not feel like he did any wrong, but Ashley does. And she told him. She didn't agree with the way he handled it. So that just goes to show a lot of people might not feel some of the things that we do wrong, but with your partner, you know, the ones that you hold close to you, those people, when they should know when it's not right. They should know you well enough in a way, especially in my opinion, with Quick and Ashley, how they carry on. I feel like at this point, Quick should know his wife well enough to know that she wasn't going to take that well. So that's just the rehash on that. But as far as her anxiety, her sleep, to sometimes we do this when we get new jobs, we got new positions coming up. I know in acting, I got a big gig the next day, or modeling, I couldn't sleep. I'd be up half the night. I don't know if you had that same experience, Kojo. So when we have a big, high anxiety anticipation events coming up, this sometimes is the pressure of it. Or we're trying to make sure we're getting things done and we have to do this, that, and the third. I got to get it done. I can't sleep. I got to make sure it's done. It's a lot. And we already know that she's, through her own admission, has suffered mental anxiety and mental issues prior in the past. So at this point, I know she's getting some help, but I think she's need to take about an hour or so a day and just talk to somebody who understands the organization of business life. So she can get that part of her organized. And once she gets it organized and gets on the plan, I think that stress will even out for her a lot better. And she'll start getting the rest that she needs.
I think you know what, it's a lot. Do you know what I think? Personally, I think it's not easy. You got two successful people in a relationship, trying to handle the affairs of life, and they've both chosen the path of being successful, right? And so I think, like you said, I think what's going on with Ash right now is there's so much going on. There's so much going on in this current period of time, so much to juggle. And the mind can sometimes get to a breaking point when there's just too much to juggle and too much responsibility and too much pressure. And that can make the banks burst. I don't even want to say anyone's particularly at fault in terms of Ashley or Quick, whether Quick can do more or not. She has told us that from season 1. Whether he has picked up more, I don't know, because it sounded like he took up more work when it came to season 2. At the very beginning of season 1, the very first episode, she said he's done even more work. So I think something needs to give, because this continue. I said this before. I said listen, these two are the strongest couple I know, but there's stress being put on this relationship, and I feel like one of them is going to have to concede eventually, because Quick has decided to take even more work than going back the other way. So as she asks for more help in the home, he took on more responsibility, did more shows. And she said and I said this, when she said she's tired of telling him about the fact that he's taking on more work, I said, it's a very dangerous place to be. It's a very dangerous place to be. When she starts saying that, it's a very dangerous place to be, because now she no longer cares. She ain't no longer going to tell you. Before you know it, your wife's at the door. Right? And I'm not wishing them any bad. I'm just saying, it's the fact that, he doesn't need to take on more work. This is me, just kind of maybe my personal view and not necessarily an overall, but it's like, you don't need to take even more work than you're doing. You have the luxury now of being able to pick and choose the best work that you actually want, right? I know he loves his job. I know he loves his work. He loves it. So it's hard to stop doing what you love. It's a bit like asking Tom Brady to stop playing football. You're asking something of somebody who loves what they do. Slightly different to someone who likes what they do. So that's very difficult. But they're going to have to come to a compromise. So either she's going to have to rescind and knock it back a notch, or he's going to have to knock it back a notch a little bit, just to be able to cope a little bit more, or find a way to get a nanny involved. So, and originally he said he didn't want a nanny. Sir, you might have to get a nanny then. If you fully harping on staying on being even more involved with your work, maybe we need a nanny just to kind of fill in the blanks, make sure the kids are taken care of. It's one less thing to think of, because she's already got her business assistant. That's another thing that's off her mind, and she can just be a little bit more stress-free. Other thing is also as well, I wonder if Ashley's going into any kind of therapy at all, or counseling, because Quick can only handle so much. I'll be honest with you. This is not the person you want to be dumping all your trauma onto. You need somebody else who you can actually talk about what you're going through. And I think if Ashley finds that too, she'll find a lot of relief as well in that. Because I think what's hard is also having complex ideas and thoughts in your mind and thinking your partner may not be able to handle all those thoughts and ideas. And in most cases, most of us can't handle all those thoughts and ideas that you come with because it's not for us to handle. It's for someone who's a objective party, who's not in relationship with you, who's not romantically involved with you, just being able to hear you out and listen. Now, I'm sure Quick could probably listen a bit more, but the reality is she needs a third party. You know, yeah.
Sean just brought up a good point. He said he don't know if they're in couples counseling either. Issues could build in resentment down the line. And that's where I was going to go with some stuff as well, because when you were saying if she rescinds, then she's going back to the life that she's already known already in a way, meaning that I put myself to a side to make sure your career is good. And that's going to cause resentment later on down the road. So what we don't really want her is to extend. He has to support her and her growth, but find some type of balance within his career to show her that support. You know, I can't just say, you're doing good, sweetie, you're doing that. I got to kind of help you around the house more so too. So yeah, like you said earlier, taking on extra jobs was a bit much. You didn't really have to, knowing that she has this book come out. But I also did notice that's his coping mechanism. So my question would be, why are you taking on extra jobs? What are you trying to deal with? What are you coping with? Are you coping with the fact that she may become more successful? Are you coping with something else? You know, another loss? I don't know. And I'm with Sean. You might need the therapy yourself. You both need individual plus couples therapy because something's going on there. You know, you bury yourself in work to not deal with grief. You bury yourself in work to not deal with some other situations. So these things that you're not dealing with are just swept under the rug, and the rug is piling up and you're going to trip over it one day. So let's start getting that up out the way.
Yeah. 100. Yeah. You know, that the point that you made about the, you know, why is he working more? You know, if I was to take a stab at it, you know, I definitely feel like first and foremost, as a man anyway, you want to be the provider. You know, you never want that role to be removed from you, you know. Number two, you know, Ash is a very independent woman. And she's not necessarily depending on you. Maybe that's a bit scary too, because you know that if her success blows up, she could be independent of you. You know what I mean? Because again, we believe a lot of our value is placed in, you know, provision. So maybe in his head, he's thinking that, you know, the more successful she gets, the more money she gets, the less she's going to need me. You know, I need to show that I'm needed. And I think also, again, sometimes, you know, couples can be competitive. You know, they start seeing another partner climbing up. They're like, whoa, I got to make sure I keep climbing. You know what I mean? I don't want to be obsolete in this relationship. You know, I've always been the top person in the relationship. I need to keep that crown going, you know, and it can be very hard. This is the difficulty, the balance. You know, the balance can be difficult to get. But yeah, there's a real question to ask as to why he's working more, especially now he's been asked to dial it back a little bit. Why, you know, why he's decided to go back into work even more after hearing her pleas. And this is why I made that point in the earlier episode. I said, this is how divorces happen. And people were like, I don't know how it happened. This is how it happens. Because it's like these key moments, she did plea. And I'm not just trying to take her side. I'm just saying that she did plea earlier on, season 1, saying, you know what, I need a little bit more help around here. And you have the luxury of being able to do it because you do work at such a high status level. You know what I mean? So, you know, you can choose how you're going to work a bit more than the average person. And yeah, it's in that regard. I know that he'll probably say, you know, working pays the bill, and it does. But she has been crying about this. So I don't want it to be a Monique Samuels situation all over again, where you said the person's been crying about it and haven't heard it, and now we're trying to make adjustments, because it can be a little bit much more difficult to kind of make that work for him as well. You know,
definitely agree with that. Yeah, nip it in the bud while it's early. So.
Nip it in the bud while it's early, indeed. All right, cool. We'll move on to the next part. Hopefully, she'll get the support that she needs.
While he was with my friend.
The Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah, I think it's all right.
So, girl, let me talk afterwards.
No, he was messing with Shirelle while he was with my
Your
friend.
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, sounds like a man. What's your thoughts to Joy? Letting us know that Black was with her ex. Oh, sorry, her best friend, playing her best friend with
So it
Shirelle.
made a little bit more sense, but I was like, it's still not enough to hold that as much disdain and animosity that she was holding. So I was like, okay, because I mean, if somebody, I was kind of like mutually in between a best friend and a coworker. I'm not gonna be sitting there all mad to the point where I got to sit here and fuss at the person. I definitely felt her as she went on that there's some discussion that needs to be had, but she kind of needs to get out of her own way in a way, to just go ahead and have that conversation with him, because you're at the point where you don't even mention this man's name. You're literally like Shirelle's husband. Shirelle, this person that was in the band and all this. So you really have some hard feelings towards him. And to the point that you say you rarely say hate, but you hate this person. You shouldn't carry that much negativity for a person. You shouldn't let a person get to you that much. That's the power that they have over you. Because like I say, they're living their life going on and you're over here holding on to this hate. So you might as well just have the conversation and hash it out as why you have such strong feelings to them, and just be done with it. Release yourself. Because there's something that went on. You feel like he said this to somebody and this happened and all this, just clear it up. Clear it up as much as you can and then move on. If you guys can't find peace again, if you don't want to be friends again, you don't want to work together again, that's fine. If he stole your money, confront him. If he lied about you, confront him. You ain't got to be all malicious. You ain't got to try to fight him or anything, but just let him know, hey, something you did in the past, I wasn't cool with. We need to have this conversation. But you letting this person get you all riled up every time you come around them, and they take your energy and they take your joy, your light every time you come around, or their name is brought up. Now the whole mood is just changed in the room. That's too much power they got. They got way too much power in your life. You need to let it go. Okay, because at this point, I'm like, this must be some sexual tension. I don't know if it was a best friend or you. That's what it's coming off as. Like, who did he cross? So I'm not sure. Did the best friend break up with you because of him? Because if that's the case, then I get it a little bit more. But if it's money involved, I understand. I get it. I get it. Money, you mess up my money at some point. It is what it is. If you lied on me, I pretty much won't really want to deal with you, but I won't say I hate you. I just don't F with you. You're a liar. That's what it is. But for it to be hate, it got to be something strong, and they don't have to have a conversation with us, but they need to have the conversation. Like, seriously. Like, you hate anything that's attached to this man. That's crazy. So you ain't talking to this whole woman because she's attached to him. Okay. But Raina's been being messy this season. I'm sorry. Raina's being messy.
Yeah, it's do you know what it is? It's I think I'm trying to understand Joy, and it's the same energy that she had here is the same energy that we had in Ready to Love. It's that once you cross Joy, the guns come out. Once you cross Joy, she go and start shooting at you. And I think that's what we've seen from Joy. We saw it in Ready to Love, how she dealt with the Kia situation. We saw how she dealt with Demetria's situation. We saw how she's dealt with that, right? She can be very cutthroat when she deals with certain things as well. So that's just natural for Joy to have that kind of energy. I think with Joy, she, values loyalty above everything, so what she can trust, what she gives you one chance. If she can trust you and you stay loyal, you got a friend for life. But if you mess up and you betray, that's it. You literally are cut off and finished. And I think that's what we're seeing with Joy here as well. And this often comes from the way that we are dealing with certain wounds, right? So we cut off people quick so we don't get hurt, in the long run. So we don't have to deal with the emotions and sit in it and actually feel it. And I think that's something that Joy doesn't like doing, sitting in the feelings and dealing with it. And that's why it comes off so cutthroat when she deals with people. And I think this Black situation is one of those things, right? Yeah, Black ended up, mistreating your friend. I get it, right? And mistreating your friend with Shirelle. I hear you. I get it, but we're holding a grudge for someone that wasn't even against you so heavily. Now, she went on to explain about the fact that there were other things in the actual situation where, he told a lie. I think that was what I think what's made her cancel him the most is the lie. Let me see if I can find that part of.
Ooh, Shirelle, if they love it, I love it. Love it. So Shirelle is inviting me to a fitness work.
Want to deal with that person.
Right.
I couldn't possibly imagine being cool, cordial.
Okay, I'll have to find it in a second. I think it's in my notes, and I'll find a clip. But what she ends up saying is that he lied on her about the situation with the band. Yeah, I can get a clip.
Something about her and the drummer got into it or something.
Yeah. So instead of him telling the truth, he lied about some situation, and that's what's caused the extra heat that she feels.
And the drummer got into it, which is a lie. But again, no one
they
ever
blame you for the breakup.
No, there's not they. It's just him.
It's been over 10 years.
So, if you heard correctly, she talked about the fact that that he lied about the fact that she got into it with a drummer, and basically said about the fact that he was letting everyone know that she was responsible for the reason why the band's broken up. So that's why she's got such animosity towards him. I can understand why.
I understand, but it's a weird contradiction. So somebody between the two of them, if not both, is not being all the way 100 with it. Because when we get with Shirelle later on, Shirelle is like, oh, well, he's been trying to get the group back together or what, and all this and the third. So if everybody is feeling like Joy is the problem, I don't see why the group is still not back together then. So Shirelle, your man might have some explaining to do, sweetie, because if it's just one monkey don't stop no show. That's for sure. So if she was that one person holding the band up, I don't understand how we ain't got the band back together. So something what Joy is saying might be a little bit true. I don't know if it's all the way. Some missing pieces might be up in there, but something is true with it. So I don't know, but for 10 years you're holding on to this animosity, and you're not the only one. You're not the only one apparently, because if he's lying on the group, I never understood how he's lying on you and the drummer, but you and the drummer never confront him about it. So that's why I said some parts, because if you lying on me and we both know the truth, we gonna come to you like, bro, why you making this up? Why you on this? We don't have no problem, especially if we've been working together, we're getting money. Now, if it is that people is not being honest with her and saying, hey, yeah, you are a little bit of a problem, they might need to do that too, and to go ahead and tell her she's the problem. Or I don't know, this thing is getting so messy as I keep trying to think about it like this. I don't know what's going on with this.
Crazy. No, it's not easy to break down because we need more information. But clearly, there's something underneath everything that we're not seeing because that information hasn't been provided to us. So there is probably more to the story that we haven't really got, and that'll probably need him to kind of speak up. Whether he ever will on the show, we'll see. But it's giving this our storyline so we can make it work. But no. I can see Joy holding on to that and not forgiving for 10 years. I can see that for sure. She will cut a nigga up. So I get it. Let's move to the next part then. Okay,
Because
fantastic.
we were in the moment, I said, this ain't the time and place. And you just said something about little Jamie had sent some messages to you that was bothering, like he was potentially trying to hurt himself.
Right. Mental health, he says mental health was not good.
Right.
So DJ Quick, Awesome Foursome, they get together and have a conversation. That's both DJ Quick, Arena, Jamie, and Ashley, and they have a conversation about what they experienced that night before. And so DJ Quick and Ash kind of, I wouldn't even say they got onto him, but I think they let him know they weren't happy about how he handled things. And interestingly enough, Jamie didn't necessarily take it too kindly, even when it was explained nicely. What did you see, Jay, yourself?
Same exact thing. I got a quick question before I get into it. So, as a man, would it be better if your fellow man came to you, or if one of the women came to you to address this issue?
About what I did the night before?
Yeah. Would you take it better as the man addressing you? Will you hear him more, or would you hear the women more, or would you
I think I prefer Quick to come to me. I'd prefer the man to come to me, yeah, just so that we can have that man-to-man conversation. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I prefer the man to do it, yeah.
And see, that's what I was thinking too. I thought it was best that Quick was the one who started the conversation to address it, especially how case sensitive it is and how serious it is for Ashley, that the man would address it, in this case Quick, because we need to set the tone of the conversation. I would feel with Jamie's personality, not to say that it's bad, but it's going to come out a little way.
Abrasive.
But with his personality, even when he said it, I would figured that Arena would have said it or Ashley would have said it. So you were already preparing for the shutdown of not really hearing or receiving what was said. But it bothered you that Quick said it, because now it's man to man. It's on equal level playing field. And yes, I might not agree of ways that Quick might have said certain things as far as parenting is interjected in there. It does make it seem like I'm a little bit superior with you when it comes to parenting in some regards of how he says things, but the message was still there.
Yeah.
Your way of support is not the best support for your son.
Yeah.
He's wild and out. Jamie missed it again. Mm-hmm. Because even at the end of it all, he had made a comment that you played at the beginning, and it was just more so like, I'm a good parent. And we're not saying that you're a bad parent.
That's the fragile ego. Yep.
Yeah. We're saying that this particular parenting style that you have with this one child is just not working. And you bring up that this is something that you've been going through with this child, and he just wants the attention, and he's been getting in trouble since this age or whatever. From that age, he's been wanting the attention. That's the problem. And you haven't listened to that cry of help. And that's why Ashley is here sitting down telling you. This is why Quick is sitting down telling you. And this is also why Arena is sitting down next to you pretending like she don't know. Like, everybody's been trying to tell you, your son is crying out for help, regardless if he says it like, I want to unalive myself, I want to harm myself, or if I act out in this particular way, I need your attention. My dad loves to say there's no such thing as bad children, they're just mischievous. A lot of times when they're being mischievous or getting into stuff because you've been ignoring them. If you babysit before, so you already know how it goes. If I'm over here working and stuff, we start banging. Okay, you're not paying attention to that. We get louder and louder. We get in your face and start doing it because we want attention. We're not being bad. We just don't know any other way at that time to get your attention. And I had brought it up before. Maybe this was his way of getting your attention by getting in trouble. If I get in trouble, would you hug me? If I get in trouble, would you tell me I love you? would you do these things if I get in trouble? Because you don't do it when I'm not. And some of our parents, and I grew up with a parent like this, they only reward you when you do the negative things, meaning they only pay attention to you when you're being bad. But all these good things that I did, you never once say, oh, congratulations, I'm proud of you. And sometimes that messes with our psyche as kids. We feel some type of way. It's like I'm sitting here as children doing what a child usually does, is try to please their parent. And I'm doing all of these things to please you, and you don't notice it. But the one time I get out of line, you pay me the most attention. So what do? I'm going to get out of line. When I need attention, I'm going to get out of line because that's when I know you pay attention to me. Now you have him saying these text messages to his mom. And you're just like, well, he's a bum. He wants attention. Will it hurt you to give it to him? Would it make you less of a man or less of a father to show him some attention? Sit down and say, son, what is going on? I don't understand what's going on. Let me in. Ask to be let in. He's a grown man, so just ask to be let in. You'll be surprised. That wall will start breaking down real quick because he wants you in. All he wants to know is that you want to be there and that when you get there, you're not going to judge him. And that's the hardest thing for us as parents sometimes, in our way of protecting our children, we're actually harming them more. So yes, if they say, well, I got a mental issue, I might have something going on in my head, we got to listen. We can't take that lightly. Because all these people that are not getting the attention, that's when we get these mass events at schools and all that. Because the first thing they'll say is, oh, well, he kept to himself and he didn't bother nobody. Well, he was probably keeping to himself because you weren't paying him attention. You shove a game, you shove a TV, you put something in front of him, but you won't give him the attention. And first things babies do, when you learn babies do, they cry for attention. They don't be wet. They want food. They learn this from baby infancy. If I make noise, I get attention. So any type of noise I make, if I get your attention from that, that's going to be my repeated behavior. Good or bad. When your child is doing good things, give them attention. They'll start picking up that habit of, I'll do good. I don't know. You're on mute.
So that's what positive regard is, and positive, conditioning in that respect. If we take, Jamie and look at some of the experiences that we've seen on the screen with little Jamie, we can see where he can be a little bit abrasive, a little bit rough, and how that can affect little Jamie if he's a little bit more sensitive. But I do believe he's of the old school mindset, and the old school mindset works when you're trying to survive. It doesn't work when you're trying to thrive. It doesn't work when you provide your kids a completely different lifestyle to what you actually went through. And not necessarily that the kids are spoiled, or anything like that, but really more of a case of, your children are responding to your parenting. And so your parenting for this child does not work. That parenting is not going to work. It needs an adaptation, which is hard because I'm used to doing certain things a particular way. But little Jamie has shown resistance since he was a little teen, as you said yourself. But yet, you're not realizing that maybe there's something missing in the works, because you've never really given it a chance to explain, and you've never really given yourself a chance to listen, as well. But in regards to what people are saying, obviously, as well about, the conversation, whether they should have had it in the open plane. Yeah, do you know what? Maybe having it in the restaurant wasn't the best idea, right? Because obviously prying ears can hear. But sorry, if I'm honest with you, when it comes to Jamie will give you the same energy when you're home alone, when you're him outside, whether you're, private setting. We saw how he handled Arena last episode. Private conversation. She wasn't being rude, and he still managed to find a way to deflect from the actual truth. Jamie's hard of hearing. That's his biggest issue. He's hard of hearing, and he believes only his way is right. And he's so set in those ways that it becomes very difficult to dislodge him from anything else apart from the fact that he's right. And that's also where the issue comes with the training of the child, because if you always are right and you don't know how to listen, that child is also suffering, because they're asking for you to reflect on maybe some of the behaviors that you have towards them, you know. But yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, in terms of that conversation between Ashley and Quick, was it better to have both Quick and Ash there? In hindsight, maybe not. You know, in hindsight now. But again, the public, I guess having a private conversation might have been better, but that doesn't mean that he would have adhered to the message that they sent out. You know what I mean?
I think Ashley's idea, I don't think she's not capable of having a conversation with Jamie alone. I know she doesn't want it to go left, and I think for her, having Quick around probably would have felt more like a calming of Jamie. But unfortunately, Quick does say some things that can be a little bit off. And I get it. And that's the ironic thing that Jamie said in the beginning. It was sometimes he says things and I don't like the way he says it. And I was like, that's ironic, because it's the same with you and your son. And it's starting to be like open with the rest of the cast. Like, you say things too that people don't like the way you say it. So let's point this mirror at ourselves and just open our ears and listen a little bit more instead of just talking all the time. Let's just be quiet a little bit, sit back. We don't have to say everything that comes to our mind. I know you was a little intoxicated at that moment and you felt some type of way, and you probably didn't want to have that conversation at that party. So your easiest way is to shut it down real quick with the shock value comments. But that was very inappropriate. And I get that you don't remember saying it, and Arena might not have heard it. And I also do believe that she might not have heard it, because sometimes when conversations is going on, we don't hear those little pickup things because we're not triggered to those things. But Ashley did. Ashley heard it. I won't doubt that this is the first time Arena has heard him say that he feels this type of way about him, because Jamie does not come across as a type of person that bites his tongue. So just hear Ashley. You can tune out Quick, you can tune out Arena, but just hear Ashley, because Ashley is the one who's telling you from her self-experience, I have gone through this. And this is how it made me feel. And I have tried to unalive myself on multiple occasions. So when he's saying this, just listen to him, hear him out before it's too late. Now, this is a second person pleading for you to listen and help. We'll see next week what happens when y'all had to sit down. But I will not say, I will be remiss if I don't say, try different tactics. I understand he's 26, but that doesn't mean we stop learning, we stop growing. We don't need some mentorship going forward in life. We can always use it no matter what age we get to. So I would say going forward, just try to have more different tactics as far as communicating with this particular child. And you'd be surprised. Some of them may work, and they may work for all your children. And you guys will have a better relationship going forward. It doesn't hurt to try.
Yeah, I mean, and I think also with that, with Jamie's situation, I think, because I think Deanna Burton put a little comment there as well about the friends, and I think I hear it. Like, maybe it could have been done more tactfully, right? But someone had to tell him, because your son's on the brink of killing himself. Like, this is not now. You know what? You two have an argument, and you know what? You're a bit rude, he's a bit rude, and y'all just get into little scraps or whatever. No. He's thinking about offing himself. At this point, it's no longer it's a yellow flag, it's a red flag, and it's waving at us. And so at that point, it requires a very quick and decisive intervention is needed, because otherwise they could actually lose little Jamie. And then this little storyline becomes real life in the sense of you experiencing something that you don't want to experience, and all because you weren't paying attention. Now, am I saying that little Jamie is innocent? No, we know he's not innocent. But what we are saying is he's little Jamie for a reason. Okay, you called him little Jamie for a reason, and he needs something from you. That he's requiring something from you. Now, someone might say he's coddled or he's entitled and etc. etc. I think as much as that is true as well, I think he needs to be heard, and specifically from Jamie, not from Arena, because Arena hears him already. It's from Jamie. She needs acceptance from that person. He needs acceptance, sorry, because the reality is he holds a lot of validation for Jamie. Little Jamie is going to take his words and be validated by his father's words, right? So, yes, Ashley had to tell him about her story, had to explain to him how serious it was, because Jamie doesn't think it's serious. That's why they had to approach it that way, because Jamie doesn't think it's serious. He thinks that his son is trying to play around. That's how mad it is. He's not taking it as a serious threat. And for me, that's scary too. Like, your son can say that, and let's say he's even playing around. He just wants to get your attention. If it's the first time ever, I don't want to play around with it. I don't want to risk it. I don't want to risk it and be thinking to myself, well, they're playing around, and then they actually do something to themselves. Then I'm going to be feeling really guilty. No, I'd rather, do you know what? Let me make sure I know what I can do to help, because it sounds like you're in a dark place. Go for it, Jay.
And to counter this, Donna's, if I say your name, I am so, Deanna's comment with another comment. I get what you're saying. We don't want to cross our friends' boundaries, but if we're real friends, we should be able to tell each other things and truths. And I'm gonna go back to Sean's comment. He had said earlier, he says, I think somebody mentioned it earlier, but Quick and Ashley should have asked questions and offered suggestions. And I agree. They should have offered some suggestions and asked some questions on how do you feel when he says these things, or when he's doing this, or whatever, get to know it a little bit, the situation just a little bit more. And I said it earlier, some of the times when Quick says certain things, it puts him on a pedestal as far as his parenting goes, and makes him sound superior, like he knows it all. And so that makes Jamie defensive. What we have to do is those suggestions. We give suggestions. Hey, this worked with mine. We had this situation, and I know yours is not the same age anymore. He's a little bit older and mature, but try this method. Have you just tried sitting down and talking with him? Those type of things. There's different methods as parents that we just kind of give each other. We don't tell you how to parent your child. You do what you want to do with your child. But if we see you struggling, it should be okay for us as the village, because it takes a village to raise a child. It should be okay for us as the village to say, hey, I see you struggling with your child in this area. When I struggled with mine in this area, this is what I did. Try it. See if it worked. It might not work. It might not, and we got to go back to the drawing board. But that lets you know, as a friend, I see you're struggling. I see you're hurting. Let me help you. And at the same time, I'm not overstepping my boundaries to make you seem like I know everything that I'm doing, because I don't. Quick don't have these troubles yet, because his baby is barely 14. We haven't hit that full puberty stage where I'm transitioning into full off manhood, and you ain't gonna tell me ish. Now I develop your personality, and you don't like looking at it back, because that's what's going on with Jamie and little Jamie. That's your personality. And the funny thing is, you don't know how to handle yourself. Little Jamie is you. Not listening, getting defensive as soon as he see you in the room, present and everything. That is you. So you're not addressing your issues, so you can't address your son properly. When we get to the bottom of what our issues is, then we can say, okay, now I see. Now I see where I did wrong. Now I can take accountability for where I failed you as a father. It was never my intent. Do you forgive me? I made you feel this type of way. I apologize. I gave you this experience. That was not my goal. Can you forgive me? We can start that communication. And then you'll be surprised that, no, Dad, you didn't really do. You were great. You was this. You'll find out that you was okay in some of your parenting, and they'll start taking accountability for what they did. And now we got a good relationship. And I was with Quick, especially when he said, there's love there, but I just don't think y'all like each other. And we go through that with different type of relationships. There be love there, and there's always love, but that like is not always there. We need to get back to that place of like. That father-son, man-to-man like. That's what you and Lil Jamie need to get back to. And y'all not far from it. I think you guys just got this wall up. Y'all got these egos going, and you ain't gonna overstep me. I'm the dad. Well, I'm a man now, so I can't have to listen to you. We got to check that at the door. Sit down, have some real conversations as real men, and leave. I'm daddy, your son. Be like, that's past relationship right now. He's 26. We need to have man to man, boy to boy. Build a bond, build a friendship now. Because soon he's going to be wanting to have his own family. And you're going to want to be there to say, see all this stuff I went through with you? Well, enjoy now. It's your turn. Turn up. But you want to be there. You want to be there when your kids start having kids. You want to be in your grandbaby's life. So I don't want y'all to damage nothing going forward. I do really want y'all to have this conversation and speak to each other, because it's a blessing to have your kid go through whatever he's been going through, but still out and walking and talking with you at 26. Because, they say the record for us in America was 25, and you got 25 good years, and that's it. So he'd have made it 1 year over. Let's keep this going. Let's keep it counting.
Yeah, and Juicy makes a good point as well. Like, he didn't even remember that he said those words about his son, and it's very interesting that he didn't remember that. So this means that I can't trust your recall in arguments with little Jamie, because if you are telling me a story, you might forget that you said some things. When little Jamie pulls you up on it, you're not humble enough to say, hey, that maybe I did say that, I'm apologizing, sorry. And I think that's what we're looking for here from Jamie. I'm looking for humility here. I'm definitely looking for some accountability. We saw this yesterday on the live when Andrea came on, and she talks about her marriage and how, she played a role in the divorce of her marriage. And that's what we're looking for from Jamie. It's some level of accountability. And stop trying to hide behind, I'm the best parent, I've done whatever I can. He's a spoilt one. It's placing all the blame on him, not looking at one's introspective behavior and how it's contributed towards how your son is. You know what I mean? And obviously, clearly they felt defensive, because even Arena was like saying, he's a good dad. It's like, we're not challenging whether he's a good dad or not. That was not what they were challenging. We're challenging the fact that you have said and done some things that are problematic. And I'm sure this is not the first time Ashley and Quick have heard some things, but it's the first time, it seems, or so, that they're addressing it in this particular way. And don't forget, you roped Quick into talking to little Jamie. So whilst you may think that he may not have a place to say something, you don't get to rope me into your child affairs to help me talk to your son, and then think that I'm not going to speak to you when you moving mad. Because you asked me to intervene and be a mediator in that situation for you and your son. And I came and mediated, not only there, but I came to mediate also, to that party. And, again, you said some wild things, You said some wild things. So Jamie needed to take some accountability. I get it. He might have been defensive, but hopefully he heard what Quick was saying, and he's implemented it into the role and situation with his son. Because what we don't want to see is his son losing his life over your words, over things that you said and done about him as a person. You know what I mean? And I think that comment alone about him being a bum, well, it done its damage, if I'm honest with you. And so, for that, Jamie's going to have to look at himself and be open to some critique. It's not going to kill you. No. Be like that.
Yeah. like I said, hopefully they getting that counseling. That
Teenager.
He said they are, aren't it? He said they are though.
He agreed. He did agree to go to it. He said everybody. So he making sure he don't go alone. But a good counselor would possibly draw him out and say, hey, we needed to do a couple of sessions just one-on-one as well. So hopefully they do, and tell them, let's just get some individual a little bit up in there so we could just work on some new skills of how to communicate. Because I think that's what he's really lacking, is just new skills, new tools
how to communicate.
On how to communicate.
I agree that. Obviously, let's talk. My computer's trying to freeze on me. Let's see if I can get it. I want to get the clip of, the situation between Arena. Well, I think it was a dance with the girls that came up first. Yeah, the dance with the girls. Let's play that clip. Hopefully, it comes up. If it doesn't play after the dance, yeah, computer wants to move mad. But the girls had a dance, and Winter was there. I guess she was being planted there to cause drama. And then obviously her and Abby get into it. They get into it fully. I wanted to get your perspective on that situation with Ashley and.
Ooh, can you guys still hear me? Because it cut him off, I believe. Let me know if you guys can still hear me. So I don't know if it's me or him. Oh, it is you. Wait. Ah, shoot.
What comes from? It was me. It's me.
Sorry
about that.
Okay.
I was just saying, obviously, about obviously, my computer's moving mad. So my computer's moving mad.
I'll go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, with you good?
Yeah, I got you. I know who you're talking about, Ashley and I forgot her friends. That's something with an A, and Winter. Yeah, I got how the energy changed when Winter come in, and sometimes we give the people that power, but at the same time, that whole thing kind of started, and it goes kind of back to that last season, is Winter, you didn't have to say the extras. You didn't have to say, girl, I don't know you, so you kind of started that, and it's almost to the point where you must kind of know something of this girl why you would say that directly to her. Because it was another girl standing on the other side too, but you didn't get rude with her. At least that's what we didn't see in editing. So I'm not sure, but you open that can of worms. And so the back and forth going, and you get outside and it was like, I don't know why she's speaking to me. I didn't understand none of that. And who she is. And I wasn't speaking to her, but you did. You could have just said bye, a general bye. That would have covered everybody. If they don't say bye back to you or whatever, then they just don't say bye back to you. But to go bye, I don't know you. That's quite rude. And it was unnecessary. So when she says something back, don't be surprised. And it brought us back to, season 1 when she had her thing. And yes, Ashley didn't have to say what she said when she said it, but you were telling a story and you're leaving the story up for people to have their opinions and share their opinions. And you didn't like the way Ashley shared her opinion, which was kind of valid. But yes, we don't know Ashley to know that this is the way she speaks to everybody. And she doesn't always have the nicest way of speaking to people either. But this is what happens when we start revealing ourselves, that parts of ourselves that we're not really ready to divulge and get into with strangers, because they were strangers. And some of the conversation probably should have been left at the door and not all overshared, or we should have been ready to answer the real questions. And the real question was, you never asked that man where he lived. So when Ashley brings it up, I get, yes, it wasn't the nicest way of her bringing it up, but that was a legit question. Why you never asked him? Now, all the little extra back and forth that just transpired between you two in between there, yeah, you're both responsible for. You're definitely both responsible for that. And one of y'all, I haven't kept up with it. I can't. I'm sorry. I don't have time for that. But one of y'all might be constantly keeping it up. I really don't know which one of you are, because even when this argument was going back and forth, neither one of y'all backed down. So that lets me know that as long as y'all gonna have some type of beef, it's gonna keep going. On Twitter, face to face, Instagram, the beef is gonna continue to keep going, because neither one of you ladies will back down. And I'm not saying either of you do, but sometimes if we're really just trying to be cordial with people, we gotta just, you can say whatever you want to say. I just don't have to have a response. And that's what a lot of our problems is. It's not what the person actually says, it's the way we respond to what the person says. Because sometimes we don't have to have a response at all. We can give them the honest truth response and be dead on, or we can give them an all right negative read. It'd be a damn good read, but it'd be negative. You know, like Winter's read, I didn't get the wig memo. It was a nice little tiny jab, but you know, she didn't get the memo because she wasn't in costume. They both have some little reads to each other. And that's what I do like about the show. I don't think I would make it on the show. I'm not going to lie, because I'll probably be like, Joy, a lot of times, yeah, I'm not about to deal with y'all. I don't F with you, so I'm not about to deal with you. A quick, why you even speaking to me, and that I've been moved on. But these two right here is pretty good for the show, because they'll keep the beef going. They'll have the back and forth, and they're going to give you some nice little reads in between. So kudos to casting. I see how Winter is still very much needed. Y'all always need you a little Kenya Moore, a little Nene Leakes, a little antagonistic person, a little Giselle Bryant up on there to get the ball rolling. And Winter is definitely doing that for it. And she's pretty good at it. I like her reads when she begins to reading people. I do like that. But she has to take a responsibility. She opened that can of worms for this one. So I don't know. Are you straight over there yet?
No, you know what? You know what? My internet is moving mad, to be honest. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. You're coming in clear right now.
Yeah, it's just moving mad. I don't know what's going on. But you know, Winter and Ashley's beef it's been in the making for a little while. But absolutely love Winter, but Winter there's no need. That whole thing starts with Winter moving mad. Listen, Winter out here causing blizzard storms, and it's not necessary. Because, like, yo, you already know they don't like you. And when someone doesn't like you, you definitely don't need to be prodding and poking, you know, going over there saying, hey, you definitely don't need to be writing gutter Barbie songs. Call people. You definitely need to take accountability for the fact that you're about to produce a piece of evidence from your DMs about what they said about her son, and coming like you're going to tell her some real vital information, and you ain't say nothing. Like, you didn't do nothing about it. It's like, Winter, you're doing things now that's making you look like the villain that you were, that they were trying to make you out to be in season 1. You're actually becoming that villainous person. Again, it might be part of the role that she has to play, that they want her to play, you know, because they want to create drama. But I was like, this doesn't seem like yourself, just saying. So yeah, I was like, Winter, why are we doing this? Why are we jumping in? And then we're having a whole argument outside the parking lot with Ashley and her sister even backing her up. And I was like, look, Winner, we need to vacate and abort mission. Okay, you know what? Because it's now getting to a point where Shirelle's not involved, else is involved, and reality is, you know what? You could have just left this moment, could have left it alone, but you didn't. You didn't. You decided to act, I would like to say childishly, because it was a little bit like, you're being petty in that moment, and it then triggers the group, to come at you. It's not the best thing to do. And then Shirelle trying to play peacemaker. I was like, Shirelle, they already got your number marked, baby. Okay, I need you to chill. Okay, but yeah,
it's like they told her at the pink party or whatever it was that they were having. The other party, don't, and you're steady telling Arena, don't. Again, another person, take your own advice. Just don't. If she don't want to, you one thing you can't do is force people to interact with each other when they're just not ready, because it's never going to go well. And these two really have a beef going on that's really out of nothing, in my opinion. But they have a serious beef going on that just needs to be dead. And the only way you can do it is just keep them apart from each other until they realize this is silly. And for show purposes, that would probably be forever. But it's silly. And I get everybody else saying, oh, this beef that you guys have is silly, and I don't understand why y'all have it. Y'all should just be friends. Y'all should just talk it out. Okay, after the first attempt, you tell me no. If you tell me no right then as my friend, and you tell me I do not want to talk to this person, I'm not about to force the issue. Because now I'm going to start looking like an op in real life. I'm gonna start looking like I got an interior motive why I need you two to be friends. And so as your friend, no, I just leave it alone. When you ready, I'll be over here. I might be hanging with that person because they still my friend. But I'll make sure I'm not bouncing back and forth between you two, telling you what either one of y'all said. And I'm definitely gonna still be your friend of 100, but don't tell me nothing about this person. Think I'm gonna go tell them, and vice versa, because I'm not. I'm not gonna do it. Y'all got a beef. I'll be here listening to both ends of y'all beef, but it's gonna stay all up in here. And I'm gonna tell you from what I know, this is what you might need to do. You go over that way. She ain't ready to talk to you, sis. You know, I appreciate you coming out today. And shirelle, if she wanted to be a real friend to Winter, she should have just told her right there, yes, sis, I understand that you didn't do, but did you realize how you came up to her? I understand that's Ashley's friend, but did you realize how you approached her? That's still not going to get you in good graces with Ashley. I thought last week we wanted to get back on terms with Ashley. So now you dissing her best friend? It was, you know who that is? That's Ashley's best friends. Well, if you telling me that, yeah, I don't care either. I got to be with Ashley. But if you're a real friend and you really want us to genuinely get together, you might have to relay it to me like, hey, you was very rude to her best friend. So that makes me have to take accountability and stalk on what I did and sit there and say, either I could say F it and I want to keep my beef going, or I could sit there and say, you know what, this is not what I'm trying to do. You right. Let me go apologize to her. I don't know. I like you said, it was kind of childish. She could have been a bigger person and just not said anything, gave that General Malaysia dry high bye and kept it going. You know, but apparently British is still mad at that for like some years later. So maybe the dry high and buys might not work either. So I don't know. Who am I to tell you what to do with your enemies? You know, that's another story.
No, but as well, like with the winter, that's true. And I think with the winter situation and even shirelle's situation too, shirelle was being messy too, trying to sort out the situation, which was adding more fuel to the fire. Just like Arena trying to sort out the joy and the other situations. Like, yeah, you guys are adding more fuel to the fire. You're actually not sorting out the issue. The way they're handling it both was just tact was lacking. Tact was lacking. Oh, I think my internet's still moving mad. Tact was lacking in the situation from shirelle. Tact was lacking, and it's sad to see, because I think in regards to this group, I say it's sad to see, but they have to create some drama somehow. The show, I guess, needs drama, but for me, I just think both were messy. Arena, shirelle, messy, and then Arena obviously then shirelle obviously then being quote unquote friends of Winter, and then telling the group about the situation. Obviously, they're making a diss track, but yet your husband's he's the one that wrote the song, and you didn't even realize that. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. So you're involved somehow, shirelle, and you're not clean. Someone said, "Is the Winter?" Oh, sorry. Is Winter and Ashley beef real? Someone said. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Word on the street. Oh no, is Winter and Ashley's beef real? Yes, in some shape or form it is. I think Winter does feel some type of way towards Ashley's comment. I definitely feel she was lied. Ashley's the person when you cross her, so went obviously fighting back with her on the allegations or whatever, saying and calling somebody fun size. Yeah, their beef is pretty much real. It's giving petty, but it's giving real. You know what I mean? It's giving petty, but it's giving real. Yeah. Yeah.
And this is how friendships start, in a couple of more years, we have a mutual respect and we'll be best of friends. We've seen it on Step Brothers. But no, this is seriously sometimes how girl friendships really do start. It's weird. Sometimes they really do start like this. But the problem is they started attacking each other's families. And so I think it is real. Once we start talking about my husband and my kids and this, that, and the third, the Christian part, them not being Christians and stuff, that's funny. Okay, I don't know. I don't know why Ashley was mad about that. If you're a Christian, you don't have no reason to be mad, but maybe you're feeling some guilt about your faith right now. I have no clue. But a lot of the other stuff is just funny. But when we start actually talking about people's husbands and people's children and things, then we start having a real beef. And so at this point, it probably at the start of it, it probably in Ashley's mind wasn't that serious. It might have been a little bit more serious in Winter because she was on the defense when it first started. And over time, as we start cutting below the belt more and more, this beef has become real. So yeah. And then once we get on this Twitter and all this, and we're not no longer talking about the season, we're just talking. The one thing I do say that Ashley pointed out that Winter had addressed that was her mental health, and that comment right there, I thought that was a very low blow to sit there and say that, yeah, they say I'm crazy, but I'm not the one with a diagnosis. And clearly Ashley knew it was about her directly. So it's that because Ashley is now divulging how her mental health has been affecting her. That's something that we were not privy to until just recently. So that means this is something that she has probably shared with you, or you've done your research to find out. And as we know how mental health is, that is not something we want to be making light of or joking about with people's mental health like that, especially if they've been diagnosed, because that is case sensitive. That's just how I feel. If you have somebody that's been diagnosed, I wouldn't joke about their health mentally like that.
Yeah. So yeah, that dig was and that's the problem with being petty or being naughty or getting into that space where you're intentionally, because I feel like Winter's intentionally becoming the villain, right? Because it's a role. It's going to keep on the show. It's going to make her money. It's a role. But when you start playing a role, it can easily make you transcend into doing things that you thought you never would do because you're starting to play a character. And it will make you come out of character because you're in character. You know what I mean? You're in a whole new character, so it will take you out of character. And so you do and say things that you would never really would have said and done. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I said about we're seeing Winter being a bit more messy. I mean, I think we saw a little bit of that season 1. Don't get it twisted. But now it's like it's going to become part of your persona. I don't want that for her. You know what I mean?
As we talk about, dark arts and in my case, petty arts, that's the problem with it, is that we got to keep one-upping the person. And so sometimes when we start one-upping the person, we start digging into the deeper parts to cut them more, especially when you playing with somebody like Ashley, because Ashley is a pretty tough skin. So she's not going to take a lot of little things, to the heart. But there's certain things that we do take to our heart, even when we are tough skin, like our family, like certain aspects of our lives. And so when we find out that part of you, yeah, we want to use it in our petty dark arts. We want to use it. But the problem with that is it draws us out more, because now we're making ourselves vulnerable for the attack back. Because once you open that door, you can't control how that other person is going to respond to it. And if they want to go as low as you go or go all the way to hell, that's what they're going to do. And so I understand Winter felt like Ashley went low in the beginning by asking some of those questions and questioning her judgment as far as the man that she chose. But truthfully speaking, that was a question we kind of all had. So when you started telling this story, we was all going to have that question. You should have questioned yourself prior to telling that story to say, okay, yeah, in that right mind, I wasn't thinking properly. I wasn't, I was thinking with my heart, but not my mind, whatever the case may be. But it shouldn't hit you so much that you feel affected that you always have to get back now at a person. I don't know Winter's character. I have not met her. I haven't had that privilege, but from what I gauge, I don't think this is the direction she wants to go in, or really her character by nature. I think this is a defense character that she does have it to protect herself, but I don't think this is her character by nature. So I understand that on the show, she's volunteering to be the villain, so to speak, as we're looking at it. I just don't, I mean, I get it, it's going to pay her, but I just don't see it sustaining her mentally and emotionally for the long run. So I don't know if she wants to really go down that path, because now you have literally all the women against you. So you're always going to be fighting and attacking. And I don't see how you get peace out of that. And Winter gives me a person that is just looking for peace. Like when I hear her talk, when I watch her on your platform and on the lives, she seems like she's searching for peace and just happiness in her life, not forever fighting with somebody, attacking, not always choosing violence. So I don't know. It's like a weird contradiction to watch. You know, you might have to stop having her up here because it's confusing me as far as watching the show. When the season over with, you can have her back. No, she's good though. Is your internet froze up on you again? Are you there? Oh, it's moving a little bit, Matt.
No. Yeah, so no, I definitely. It's been a bit mad, innit? My connection is wild today. I think it's StreamYard as well. They said there's something wrong with StreamYard live streaming, a bit madness for some of us. But yeah, no. I just think to myself with Winter, I think you want to be very careful. Like I said, you're playing a character, but you don't want to come out of character. You know what I mean? So you just got to be very careful the words that you choose. And trying to win the battle with Ash, be very careful how you try to do it. You can go into zero-sum game where you just destroy everything, and I don't think necessarily Winter is trying to be mean or anything like that. She's probably thinking to herself, her justification is she's defending herself, which I get, but you just want to be very careful how you defend yourself. Do you know what I mean? Because it can backfire on you. One will, get you and turn and be like, "Whoa, what's this that we're facing? It's not the Winter that we knew." You know what I mean? But even from season one, when I saw a bit of the text situation, I said, "Yeah, Winter's a little bit messy." Okay, she is. She's a little bit messy. Whether she's playing a role or not, she's a little bit messy because she didn't have to hold those receipts, but she said she wanted to bring out the receipts. And I knew she was messy. I was like, "Yeah, okay, she's a little bit messy." And you know what the reality is on these shows, on Get Up, if you want to have a bit more screen time, everybody gets caught up. So you have to have your level of storyline, and I guess like that's for her storyline at the moment. But I'd hope for some more for her. You know what I mean? Maybe they'll give us some more about Winter's life rather than her being the messy one of the groups and stuff at the moment. All right, cool. Was there any other scene that you wanted to? I think that was the end. Well, because they showed a little bit of the clip towards the end, but they didn't finish it. From what I saw.
Yeah, I guess we can just talk about it next week or whatever, because we didn't get too much outside of the sister having a boyfriend or whatever, but with Jamie and little Jamie and the Tylers meeting up at the daughter's house. So I guess that's coming up really more so next week. So we didn't really
next
have
week,
much.
yeah, because I saw it.
Yeah.
It started and didn't finish. All right. I mean, that's that was a good breakdown, So hopefully people learn some from this, man. Especially the Jamie stuff. I look forward to that every week down as well. Hopefully people can learn from that and deep what happened there. And be able to take away some key points. Listen to your kids, baby. Okay, listen to your kids. All right. They're not always trying to take advantage of you. Sometimes it will help. Okay. Yeah. Someone said, let's have a storyline outside Lil Jamie. That's their storyline.
Let's have a storyline
All
outside
right.
of Lil Jamie. We know. We just gonna have Twitter. I mean TikTok. That's the storyline out of it.
Like, that's their storyline, B. You know, that's your
That's it.
storyline.
That's it.
So, yeah, that's it. That's all these. But yeah, we'll be back here next week. We'll do it on a Wednesday. I think Wednesday is a better time actually because it allows me to do other stuff. But yeah, we'll be back here next week, guys, talking about episode 5. You know that we'll discuss that. You know, if you guys watch Love and Marriage DC, then you need to turn up next week. Come in, have that deep review. I love the reviews that we do, man, because it allows us to get deep. So yeah, we'll talk some more next week. Hopefully my internet will be better as well, so that it doesn't keep cutting. But listen, anyone out there, please like the live. Jay, thank you so much.
Please like the live, because as soon as you said I wish my internet get better, you started going into the matrix. So everybody, please like this live. If you're with us on the replay, leave a comment below. You know, agree, disagree. You want to talk about Kojo's internet right now? Just talk about it. You know, whatever you feel. They say Mavs taking over your internet because you're not watching Mavs right now.
Bruh, like, and I can see, because I can see the bar, the Wi-Fi bar. I can see the bar on the StreamYard. StreamYard tells you the bars, and I can tell when it gets to one bar, it means my internet is not. It's bugging. It's StreamYard said that their internet is bugging. They did so.
They did something.
We have problems. Yeah.
Oh wow.
It's not. But thank you guys for sticking with us. We appreciate that. Honestly. We're gonna be out.
Alrighty.
Let me do that.